UFC 322 Della Maddalena vs Makhachev took place on November 15th at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The event brought in $13.6 million at the gate, as well as sponsorships, merchandise sales, and potential site fees that can range from the millions to tens of millions. Not to mention the UFC's broadcasting deal with ESPN, which pulls north of $500 million a year. But how big of a slice did the fighters actually take home? The New York State Athletic Commission does not disclose fighter pay information, so while Venom sponsorship and fight bonuses are released, the purses are based on disclosed earnings from past events. And if you stick around until the end, I'll reveal how much the channel made from the last video. With that said, let's jump into the first fight.
Every fighter that's under contract, if you want to tell the media what you're paid, that's up to you.
Starting with the featured prelim, middleweight Bo Nickal came out hot, throwing kicks and slamming his opponent Rodolfo Vieira to the ground, where he followed up with a barrage of punches and elbows. Vieira survived the assault, but Nickal continued to look sharper throughout the opening round. The slower-paced second round wasn't as one-sided, but damage continued to accumulate on Vieira's face as his eye began to swell. In the final round, Bo put one hell of an exclamation point on his performance when he connected with a perfect head kick that starched Vieira and delivered Nickal the knockout victory. Based on his tenure, Vieira would have earned an estimated $60,000 to show and $6,000 in Venom sponsorship, also known as Fight Week incentive, bringing his total to $66,000. While Nickal also took home around $60,000 to show, along with $60,000 for the win, $6,000 in sponsorship pay, and a well-deserved $50,000 performance of the night bonus, putting him at $176,000 on the night. The main event opener lasted all of 16 seconds as Benoît Denis landed an overhand right on the ear of fellow lightweight Beneil Dariush, sending him crashing face first into the canvas. Prior to the finish, Denis was dropped by a leg kick, causing Dariush to charge in aggressively. It was a mistake he would pay for, as Denis earned his third win in a row and a spectacular first round knockout. Dariush would have earned a projected $155,000, but due to a rare weight miss by the veteran, was fined 20% of his purse, reducing it to around $124,000, along with the maximum non-championship $21,000 in sponsorship, for a total of $145,000. While Denis made closer to $105,000 to show and $105,000 for the win, along with $31,000 of Dariush's purse and $6,000 in sponsorship pay, as well as a performance of the night bonus, taking home just over $300,000. After an unsuccessful takedown by the former welterweight champ Leon Edwards that led to an extended clinch against the cage, he was able to get his opponent Carlos Prates to the ground on his second attempt. Edwards controlled the remainder of the opening round and nearly locked in a rear naked choke as time expired. All that momentum was negated in the second, however, as a minute in, Prates landed a straight left that dropped Leon and finished him off with a single follow-up on the ground. Carlos Prates would walk away with the statement knockout win. Leon Edwards is one of those fighters who is, in my opinion, on the cusp of championship pay. Fighters at this level don't always have their full purses disclosed and make hundreds of thousands more than their base rate from side letters and locker room bonuses. While it would still be significantly less than he made as champion, I'd put his purse around $350,000 to $500,000 guaranteed, along with $21,000 in Venom sponsorship, giving him a total of $446,000. While Prates would have taken home significantly less, around $55,000 to show, with $55,000 for the win, as well as $6,000 in sponsorship pay and a $50,000 performance of the night bonus, for a total of $166,000. In the third fight, undefeated Ecuadorian phenom Michael Morales had Sean Brady in trouble in the first round of their welterweight bout as he fired off massive combinations. Brady clinched up and was able to survive initially, but an overhand right by Morales stunned him and kicked off the finishing sequence that saw Morales take the knockout victory, extend his undefeated record, and get one step closer to welterweight gold. Sean Brady likely made around $110,000 to show and $6,000 in Venom sponsorship for a $116,000 paycheck. While Morales is only on his 7th fight with the UFC, but already headlining fight nights, so I projected this purse at $54,000 to show, with another $54,000 for the win. He'd also take in $6,000 in sponsorship pay, along with a performance of the night bonus, for a total of $164,000. The speed of the two fighters in the co-main event was immediately evident as the flyweight champ Valentina Shevchenko and the challenger Zhang Weili unleashed lightning-fast combinations, but the power advantage appeared to belong to the champion. As the fight progressed, Shevchenko leaned on her wrestling to control the fight, putting Weili in uncomfortable positions on the ground. She continued to land the harder shots, as her size and strength proved to be too much for the former strawweight queen. After 5 rounds, Valentina Shevchenko would earn a dominant unanimous decision victory. Disclosed title challenger purses often sit in the $350,000 to $500,000 range. However, as a former champion who voluntarily gave up the belt, I'll assume Weili still gets paid like a champ. That would put her purse in the $500,000 to $1 million range, along with $32,000 in sponsorship, coming out to an estimated $782,000. And as for the winner and still women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko, she pulled an estimated $750,000 to $1.25 million purse, along with the champion's $42,000 in sponsorship. And considering she's defended her belt on non-pay-per-view cards in the past, including at Noche UFC 2 years ago, I'll take that to mean she does not receive pay-per-view points despite being a longtime champion, meaning her total stands at $1,042,000. Before we get into the main event, I want to take a moment to introduce the newly created membership program. If you enjoy the content, it's mainly a way to support the channel and keep these videos coming. You guys know that sometimes I'm not able to make a video for every event, so for less than $2 a month, members get access to fighter payout reports for every non-Apex UFC event posted the day after the event ends, as well as early access to videos, priority replies to comments, and more. And finally, in the main event of the evening, Della Maddalena got off to a quick start, landing a few early shots on his opponent Islam Makhachev. But after the two fighters settled in, Islam did what he does best and used his world-class wrestling to take Jack down and kept him there for the rest of the round, as well as most of the second. Della Maddalena had his moments in the third, as Makhachev elected to engage in the striking exchanges and found success with his leg kicks. The fourth and fifth played out on the ground, as the accumulation of damage on Della Maddalena's leg greatly hindered his striking and takedown defense. After 25 minutes, there were no surprises with the judges' scorecards. Islam Makhachev would earn his second belt and take the dominant unanimous decision. In an interview with Fox Sports Australia, Maddalena revealed that he'd be the first champion to sign a new contract under the UFC's $7.7 billion deal with Paramount. As the new media rights agreement doesn't come into effect until 2026, we haven't yet seen how it will affect fighter pay moving forward, though Dana White said definitively that it will go up, though by how much, we'll have to wait and see. However, it's a safe assumption that Maddalena's new contract would have been lucrative, and in his first title defense, I'd estimate between $1 and $2 million guaranteed. He'd also earned the champion's $42,000 in sponsorship pay, and under the pay-per-view model, he would have received a percentage of the revenue. I assume that'll be phased out of new contracts under the Paramount deal, but I'll still include it here, as with this event being one of the last under the ESPN arrangement, it's possible Maddalena still got a cut. Reports from earlier this year suggest that UFC pay-per-view sales are down overall, so taking that into consideration, I'm estimating 300,000 buys. Using the standard rate outlined in 2022 agency documents prepared for Francis Ngannou, Jack Della would earn an additional $150,000, giving him a total of $1,692,000 on the night. And as for the new UFC welterweight champion Islam Makhachev, he was listed at a flat $200,000 for his most recent lightweight title defense. However, for elite-level fighters, disclosed purses are always drastically less than they actually take home. As a tenured champion, I'd put his guaranteed purse in the $2 to $3 million range, along with the challenger's $32,000 in sponsorship, and assuming he's treated as a champion when it comes to pay-per-view points, he'd also earn an additional $150,000 share, coming out to a grand total of $2,682,000. And last but not least, my video on UFC 321 got around 22,500 views as of this recording for just over $100. Corrections to the numbers I've shown will be listed in a pinned comment below. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week for UFC Fight Night, Sarukian vs. Hooker.